This episode is brought to you by White Claw, the only hard seltzer that we'll fucking drink. Thanks to our sponsor, Stratus Media Group.
I
actually remember this album release party.
I was just saying that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you talking about the Shack?
Mm-hmm. Dude, that shit was...
Yeah, I was there.
That was fun. That was a
cool.
fun night, yeah.
I remember... All right. Oof.
I know, right? I was like, that one went by.
I'm doing a smoked old fashioned. It's sick. The presentation is sick.
Is it the firewood?
Yeah. Well, no. It's but capture the smoke inside the glass with the cocktail already in it, with a coaster on top using Elijah Craig, delivering to the table, and that's the presentation. The bitters are smoked, so it's already smoked in general. The smoke is just for like a
Presentation.
Yeah. So when you get to the table, when it comes to your table, you fucking take the coaster off, and it's like, and it's sick. So I froze a maraschino cherry. I kind of took like a little cut from the old 43 with a not maraschino, a Luxardo cherry, and then a burnt orange peel frozen in ice cube with bitters, and then build the cocktail on top of it with like a fresh orange and honey simple syrup, and then Elijah Craig.
Oh, God.
They were like, this is the best old fashioned I've ever had in my life.
That sounds amazing.
Making my mouth water right now.
And just to see that presentation,
it's
too.
sick, dude.
Like, because you
So
know at
sick.
least one table's looking like, what is that?
And it smells so you're like,
How much is it?
It's about to be $15. I mean, it's a thing.
People pay for it.
They're really
yeah.
have to.
So the sidecar that we have at Boyle Bay, like I was looking at it and people kept buying it. I think it was like $10, and I was like, let me see what happens if I put on the menu at 16. It sells more. Like, what the fuck, really? I was like, they buy more of this thing. It's crazy. All right.
Yeah.
And then the servers, and they just sell the shit at them. Like, you gotta have this drink. And they're like, damn, $16. Like, yeah. And it's like, okay. All right.
We'll do.
I'll do
You're a
it.
baller, man.
I mean, we are at dinner, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you work, to spend it.
All right. Dun-dum-bum-bum. Christian, does that sound good? Awesome.
Hey.
Check. Guys, welcome back to Passing the Bar podcast, where we're a group of bartenders talking about the ups and the downs of the industry and all the social issues that we deal with. My name's Chris Pryor, and I'm joined by Evan.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And Steve.
What's going on, everyone?
And for our episode today, for our first musician on the podcast, we want to introduce you to Bennett Wales.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
You know, amazingly, I feel like it kind of goes off to the side a little bit that we don't think about the type of entertainment that we have in our place, and especially in our bar and our restaurant, like late night. And musicians set the tone. You guys really do.
Certainly can.
You know what I mean? Like I there's been plenty of times, and it even happens currently, where I'm working behind the bar, and if the music's not right, if the tone's not right, you know what I mean? If the DJ just isn't in the space, or maybe the act that you have on just isn't good, because we've seen it a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah.
And the when your guests walk in, it makes a really tense and awkward like atmosphere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So being able to have like, someone that can come in and kind of feel the crowd, but also do their own thing, you know what I mean? And be good at what they do. You know what I mean? I think that musicians hold like a very huge part in setting the tone for the night. And Bennett being right here, sitting right next to me, this dude is like fucking.
He's good.
Great.
He's amazing.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate y'all saying that. That's actually really reassuring to hear, because there are some nights, you go and play some places, and a lot of times, especially doing the acoustic thing, it can be like you're more of like the background thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are just going up there to perform, and, it might feel like nobody's paying attention, but that's reassuring to hear that at least the bar, the bar staff is listening.
I can tell you the bartender's always listening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's
like,
good.
We're not drinking sometimes, depending. But like,
Yeah.
where you work,
Yeah.
but the main thing is like, we're there like taking all of it in,
Right.
So I can definitely tell when it's like different. Even like, I mean, I think I don't remember the first time that I ever saw you play, but when I worked at Grain, and he would play on Wednesdays, fucking murder it. It's just him and himself, and like his step. I don't know the official word for it, but like your repeater.
The Looper.
The Looper.
A lot of guys around here use it. It's a really great tool.
It's a one-man band, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's I caught on to the looping thing through watching my friends do it. One guy who's just absolutely amazing at doing it is Jesse Chong, who I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. But I caught him doing it a couple times when he would play up at Lunacy. It's right up the street from my house, and whenever he's playing, I try to go catch him. But he was just doing it. I was like, man, that is just so great. When you're playing for 3 or 4 hours a night, 5-6 nights a week, it can really tear on your voice. So it's like, how can I maximize my set and keep it interesting too? And the Looper's a really great tool to to build on that. And it's honestly helped me work on my chops too, like doing just like messing around with like leads and stuff. You know, go up before the first set, take a shot of bourbon, and then sometimes you take a little smoke break, come back, and then things can get really interesting. You're playing like the same loop for like 15 minutes,
right?
It's just fun. It's a lot of fun.
I just I remember it's like I'm kind of fangirling currently right now. Please. Because every time, no real shit, like anytime that I see like Bennett's like playing, if I'm like off or if I've got like time, I try to like make it into the direction like Smart Mouth. He was at Smart Mouth this past like fall or this past summer, like popped in there, Chichos, like popped into Chichos. Like there are specific people in our area that play music that have a following, that people will they'll come and see you. It doesn't really matter where the fuck you're at. You know what I'm saying? Just because they really appreciate like your style, and you have like a really kind of like soulful, bluesy, but like really kind of like rock and roll like vibe to you. You know what I'm saying?
It's my jam.
Yeah, and I mean, me personally, I can really appreciate it.
So
good.
Oh, I was saying, so like what you're saying right now, that appreciation. The first time I heard of Bennett was at the Shack. It was the release party.
The relief,
Yep. So Parker had come up there, and I was like, "What are you doing here, Parker?" He's like, "Bennett Wales is playing tonight." I was like, "Who's that?" He's like, "Dude, you've never heard of Bennett Wales?" His excitement level was beyond belief. He was like, "Dude, you have to hear this guy. Bennett Wales and the Riff are pretty fucking amazing." And so I've known Parker, our music, our taste aligns. I've known him probably now 20-something years. So him telling me that, I'm like, okay, I got to check this out. And then, sure enough, it was fucking amazing. I was working that night and hanging out in the inside more than normally I would.
That was a fun night. That was a really, really cool, special night for sure.
I remember that night. I remember the setup of that too. Like when we ran the Sundays for like the Artisan Sundays, Bennett's sister used to come and like sell her like jewelry there. And then somewhere throughout the summer, like he contacted me or the Shack, to try to like set this up. I remember I took it to the Courtneys, and they were like, and I was
Courtneys.
like, so like it took a minute to like kind of get this idea going, to kind of get this fire burning, and then eventually it was just like, let's fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, and it became this like probably hands down, I would say one of the best indoor like intimate fucking just really cool album release parties. Yeah. That I mean, it was very low key. It was very like not low key because there were a fucking fuck ton of people there, but it was like very easily managed. Right. You know what I mean? Because sound came, you guys had sound. When it came to like your set time and all the artists that you had that came before you guys had that down. The Young Veterans was there, like releasing like Private Plum. That was like badass. You know what I'm saying? Like there was just.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that helped in the logistical aspect of that show for sure. We brought in all of our own staging, all of our own lights, our own sound, and we had a lot of people volunteer to help us do a lot of that stuff. So it's one thing to try and put it all together, but if you don't have those folks behind you to help you out, that it definitely makes everything a lot easier too. But yeah, that was a really special and cool fun night. And the coolest thing about it was like everybody who was there was like it was like friends and family. It was like 300 to 400 of friends and family. Everybody just having a good time, and we just had a blast. Yeah. So.
Got some badass photos of that too. Of like,
what I mean? The lights, the lighting was sick, in the fog.
Yeah, the lighting was sick.
It was cool.
Like, and speaking of like support, I think, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I want to say your mom's like your biggest fan.
Yes. Isn't everybody's mom their biggest fan? Yeah, I mean, you know, she would, if she could, she'd probably be here like right now, like sitting there, like
she's gonna show up with sandwiches in about 5 minutes.
But yeah, my mom, yeah, it's so funny. So, quick story: we played our first like big music festival down in Atlanta, Georgia, Sweetwater Music 420 Festival.
Oh yeah,
2 years ago. And we were down there, and my mom was like, I'm definitely going to be there. I'm bringing your grandma, you know. And I was like, great. I was like, that's awesome. Like, so we're getting there. We get ready, and we're playing the main stage, mind you.
Oh, wow.
No joke.
We had two. We played one of the side stages one day, and I guess they had like either a band drop off. They were looking for somebody to open up the main stage on the Sunday, you know, and it was like pouring down rain. There was like 150 people out there for like us at 10 a.m. or whatever it was. but the person the two people that were there were my mother and my grandmother, and my mom is wearing this bright pink shirt that says Bennett Wales in the relief on the front, and then it says Bennett's mom on the back. My grandma sitting on her walker in the pouring down rain had Bennett Wales in the relief, Bennett's grandma on the back of the t-shirt. And they walked around that whole festival the entire weekend with those shirts on, and everybody was like, what? They had like, by the end of the weekend, they had like this little cult following that was bigger than the band. You know what I mean? So I was like trying to figure that out. So, but yeah, my mom, she's great. She's very supportive and lucky to have her there at all the gigs, big and small.
That's awesome, man.
No doubt.
So, what was your first gig? Do you remember it?
Man, probably my first gig. I mean, I started playing out around here when I was probably like 14, and I would play, all these opening slots at the old Jewish Mother, if y'all remember down at the ocean front. The old Jewish Mother location, and I'd be like opening up for all these like punk bands. I'd opened up for like one of Tim Berry and Against Me, the Gaslight Anthem, all these old like punk rock bands that used to. Yeah.
Cool,
do you remember that? Dude, I played with them 2 years in a row. The first year was there. The next year was at Peppermint Beach Club. That's how long ago this was. Dope. But yeah, so I'm like, 14, like screaming about, how shitty the government is. Whatever. But that's one. That's where it all kind of started. I wasn't making any money back then. It was more or less just like, just getting up. I'd come home from military school. I went to like an all guys military school.
Where'd you go?
Fork Union.
Fork Union?
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Fork Union.
Yeah. So I'd come home from, on weekends and stuff. I tried to like be really well behaved up there because the better of a kid you are, the more chances you get to come home. So I was like, man, I want to play whenever I come home. So I came home as often as I could. But yeah, the Jewish Mother, the OG Jewish Mother down at the ocean front was probably the first memorable gig that I had for sure. No doubt.
That's cool.
No doubt.
I had some buddies that played football at Fort Union.
Yep. Big sports school.
Huge.
A lot of guys end up going to, baseball, football. A lot of guys end up going to the NFL and stuff. I got a couple of guys that I graduated with that are, play for the NFL. It's like, that's cool, man.
That's awesome.
Must be great. What are you doing? Playing the bar down the street, like, singing the same old tired songs I was singing, when I was in high school. But
so you're Makers. Is that your drink of choice?
It recently became it used to be Bullet, but they've had some stuff going on, But so I long story short, I drink Makers now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you're ever out and about and you see Bennett Wales, now you know.
Buy my Makers.
Fucking Makers.
Do not do that. Because no, seriously, it happens because that's become like the thing now.
Right.
Like whenever people come out, like I'll look down at my feet and there's like 4 or 5 shots. I'm like, guys, like I'm not gonna be able to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But we love you.
I love you guys. Like that's awesome. I'm
just
like,
put the money in the tip jar.
if you're thinking about if you're thinking about requesting a Sublime song, just buy me a shot of whiskey instead. That'll work.
Can you play what I got?
Yeah, dude, seriously, I'm like, come on, man.
I heard it enough.
Yeah, I've like fantasized about making like a little like sign and having like a price list, you know, and put it
the
on
songs?
Yeah, be like
Yes, dude.
Sublime, any
20 bucks.
Sublime song. No,